What's up YouTube, it's Matthew here, welcome back to my channel. In today's video, we're going to talk about best practices in wholesaling real estate. Now, we hear about all these allegations, about all these licensing that are just around the horizon in this industry. And what can we do in order to protect ourselves as wholesalers and in order not to represent those bad few apples wholesalers that a lot of people are talking about, a lot of people are trying to create new regulations against, right? Because I think this crackdown of this industry just started from like the few bad apples in wholesaling real estate. They created whole laws around them. So licensing for sure is coming for more and more states around this country. But today I just want to mostly talk about how you can be one of the good apples in this industry. What are the best practices as a wholesaler in this business? So if you all don't mind, be sure to like this video, subscribe, and comment down below. And also follow me on Instagram at BizMatthew if you want to DM me a question or just for some more awesome content. All right, so now let's talk about best practices, right? What can you do in order to set yourself apart from other wholesalers, and what can you do in order to be a well-respected wholesaler in this industry? Number one, I want to talk about how to properly market your properties that you have under contract. So I think this was a big issue with a lot of lawmakers, that a lot of wholesalers were marketing properties that they still don't have under contract, like telling other cash buyers about deals that they don't actually have. And so one of the best practices in this business is just making sure you're one of the wholesalers that always market properties that you have under contract. So number one, just make sure you always have all your properties that you are going to market to under contract. You know, I have some videos about how to post your deals, but you have to make sure it has the right verbiage in a specific post, whether you're posting on Craigslist, on Facebook Marketplace, or even through emails. What you have to make sure you put is that you own equitable interest in this property, or you have this property under contract, or you're looking to assign it, or you're selling an assignable contract. Verbiage like that really sets you apart, and it shows that the investor and the buyer or even realtors looking at your post that you're professional, that you know what you're talking about, and that you know the laws and regulations around wholesaling. Another thing I want to talk about when you are marketing properties is that there are some cases where you don't have to have a property under contract. Now, let's say, for example, I knew of another wholesaler who was selling a property that they had under contract. I'm not going to go behind their back, but what I did was I just told another buyer about that property. I told him, hey, you know, I'm not in this deal, I don't have it under contract, but I know you like this area and this type of property. One of my buddies or another wholesaler that I know have this property, so check it out. And he actually did go and view the property. And I also let that other wholesaler know that, hey, I'm just going to tell one of my investors, one of my partners, one of my cash buyers about this deal. Like, no need to split the fee, I just want to let them know about it. So this is their name, they're gonna meet you at the appointment. And they actually went and everything was cool. So marketing properties doesn't always have to make you money, right? And it's just a good thing to do. It's another good practice, just being a community-based investor and making sure you share deals with other people. So another great practice in wholesaling real estate that I want to convey to you all is just being honest with your sellers, right? I think a lot of wholesalers, even beginner wholesalers, may treat their sellers like just a means to an end, just for money, but you have to be honest. Now, let me tell you a story. I saw this post by this other guru, this other wholesaler on Instagram. He was just doing a tutorial, but he already had a property under contract at a great price, but he wanted to renegotiate the deal even lower just to show his audience, hey, this is how you renegotiate. But to me, it was just so awkward, the interaction like with the seller. Like, this was an older lady. It's just like he was just taking way more advantage of this woman and just taking advantage of the trust that they built. And he ended up getting the property at a lower price. When the price he had it at, he was already making a great assignment fee. But just for the sake of, you know, instructions or teaching you all, he went lower. And it was just, the interaction was just so off-putting. I was like, what in the world. It's so cringy. And I just want to let you all know, don't take advantage of your sellers, right? If you have it at a great price, great. All right. And along that line also is make sure when you quote them a price that you actually do offer them a fair price for their property, the as is condition of the property, right? Obviously you're not getting it at market value because the property needs work and you need to make some money, right? But you don't have to go super low and just, if you know someone's a little bit older or, you know, you can easily gain their trust and take advantage of them, you know, make sure you still give them a fair offer. And also, if the property is really good and you know it's better for them to list it with a realtor, that's something you have to let them know. Say, hey, you know, I can wholesale this and help you out. I'll probably make $10,000, but I think it's better for you to go with a real estate agent because there's probably nothing wrong with this property. You'll probably get way more money. And that's an option that you can tell your seller, right? I think a lot of beginners might be scared of that at first, but it actually really gains trust and it just helps you just talk to sellers. Just bringing that option, you know, being honest with your sellers. And another thing is maybe that may force you to get your license so you can be a real estate agent. So when you come across those leads, instead of you just handing it off to another realtor where they make money, you and your company, since you all are licensed agents, you all can sell the property on the MLS yourself. And one more thing about being honest with your sellers that I want to talk about is just never argue with them, right? About the condition, about their price. Just say, oh, okay, well, this is the way I see it. You know, always be polite and respectful to them. So another best practice that I want to talk about, it kind of relates to the first practice. And this practice is just not to daisy chain wholesale deals, right? If you see a wholesaler, they have a property under contract and they're marketing that contract, don't just market it to other people. Even if you're not marketing it at their same price, but just at a higher price to your buyers, always let the other wholesaler know if you're able to do this and if they're open to it and just what you're doing, right? I think a lot of people in this industry wanted more licensing in this field because of people like that would just go behind a wholesaler's back, either like steal their deals or just try to market their properties without the original wholesaler knowing about it. So make sure you all don't do that. That's not a good practice to keep. Another best practice that I want to talk about is just bringing good deals to your cash buyers, right? Especially, I know as beginners, you may not be able to comp a property as well because that just comes with experience over time. But if you know a property market value is $200,000 and you're trying to sell it for $190,000, $180,000, it's probably not a deal for most people if they're not looking for rent and if the property needs some updates and in a rehab, right, you all? And I think bringing deals to your cash buyer, they just know if you're bringing them a deal, it's actually a deal. Because if you always bring these weak deals to them where it doesn't make financial sense on their end, they're never going to trust your input, your deals that you're bringing to them. So make sure you run your comps. I have a ton of videos on how to run comps, just using like free resources like Zillow, Realtor, and also PropStream. So you all can search that on my channel. But make sure you always bring as much value to the buyer that you're bringing to the seller, that you bring to yourself in this business. Always look at, okay, how can this person make money? So the last aspect of this I want to talk about best practices in real estate wholesaling is just always to respect the relationships that you have with investors around you, with wholesalers around you, with title companies, with attorneys in your area. So I know in my area, it's not a huge city like New York or Los Angeles, so relationships are really, really tight. And if you break or bend or mess up a relationship with one other investor, it goes around the whole town essentially. And you get pointed out as this guy or this girl. And so you really want to maintain those relationships, especially if you're in a smaller metro area. I know for me, for example, you could still communicate things with people, right? And kind of show your emotions, but never try to break a relationship for a few dollars, right? So there was this miscommunication I had with a title company and they could tell that I was upset, but you know, I always worked with them. I was still patient with them and I ended up working with them later on and I made sure I still was in connection with the owner and different things like that. I think the miscommunication, it could have turned out way worse if I just got angry, if I posted a video about them online or on Instagram, or if I told other investors, but I always just give them praise and, you know, for the respect they showed me. But it's still good to, you still are going to communicate and disagree on some things. I think keeping relationships are key in this business. And also just with your investors or other wholesalers, like I was talking about, if you daisy chain all the time, you're just going to be known as that type of person. And you don't want to be known as that type of person, right? You may be making some money, but in reality, long term, it won't work out, because I think when markets actually come down, because we're in a great market right now, what really keeps you in a down market are the relationships you build during that time. All right, you all, hope you all really enjoyed this video. Be sure to like, subscribe, comment down below. Let me know, what are some best practices that you do in your business as a wholesaler, as an investor, and different things like that. And comment down below if you have any other video suggestions that you want me to make. All right, have a great day. Peace.